Hello and welcome to another video from Football Oasis. Today's a controversial topic which has two sides to the story. There's an argument that says the salary cap needs to be scrapped now, and there's another argument that says the salary cap needs to be scrapped later. We'll be exploring both sides of the story and I'll give you my opinion at the end. But before we continue, if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. Firstly, there's the argument that if we get rid of the salary cap now and scrap the foreign player limit, then you're going to end up with a league of a bunch of foreign players, which is essentially not going to give an opportunity for young upcoming Aussies. That may be partially true, but within the A-League rules, there must be a minimum of 3 Australian players under the age of 22 in every squad. Therefore, by having the cap of foreign players currently sitting at 5, limits the quality within the whole league. But by scrapping the salary cap and the foreign player limit, you will increase the quality in the whole of the A-League. And if you are an Aussie player over the age of 21, then you must be better than average in order to make it in these squads. What this is going to do is, it'll make the Socceroos selection much more competitive and better quality than it is right now, because the standard in the A-League is going to become higher to push players that are the best. And for those youngsters who want to make it within the footballing industry, they're going to have to work much harder to prove themselves. If you look at the MLS, you can see young upcoming talent who are coming up through the ranks. And that is simply because they stand out from the rest. Currently, our Socceroos squad is being selected from a pool of very average players who either got lucky or have a pretty good relationship with the coach. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they all fall in that category, but a lot of them do. We must lift the quality within our domestic league. If you look at the situation as a whole, you'll find that majority of high quality Australian players are already playing overseas. So by having the best Australian players overseas, this leaves big room for those average Australian players to fill that void. Whereas if you completely scrap the salary cap, the foreign players are going to step into the shoes of those good enough Australian players who are overseas. So the argument of it'll essentially hinder the development of our youth is non-existent. If this is to be implemented going forward, it's all going to be about if you're good enough, you'll make it, rather than if there's a void, you'll be promoted. Clubs are currently trying to follow FFA rules by throwing in youth kids in the big team just so they obey the regulations. And when it comes to Australian senior players, let's be honest, a lot of them are average. And are pretty much there purely because there's a limit on foreign players in the league who would more likely be better players than the Australian ones. Well, that was one side of the argument. The other side is if you remove the salary cap now, it would cause big issues for clubs like Central Coast Mariners, Newcastle Jets, and Wellington Phoenix, who don't really have the financial stability and power like other clubs within the league. And you may think, well, who cares? This is modern football these days. Yes, you're right. This is modern football these days. But a decision such as this one can make an already weakened A-League into a much less competitive league. The A-League currently only has 11 teams, and such a big decision like this could be detrimental, at least at this current period. If there was a promotion and relegation system in place, this wouldn't be an issue, since it would mean if you're not up to standard, then you're going to get relegated. However, this is currently not a reality because we simply only have 11 teams. Imagine Sydney FC or Melbourne Victory have one awful year and they get relegated. It just doesn't make sense. Look at any of the 5 top leagues in the world right now. Their league is made up of either 18 to 20 teams, which is why there is room for financial superiority without creating damage to the rest of the league. Australia simply doesn't enjoy that luxury. Personally, yes, I want to see the salary cap scrapped, or at least increased to 5 million. And the foreign player numbers also need to increase to at least 8. But realistically, I think this would hinder the league from its growth if it happens now. The ideal time would be until our league reaches at least 18 teams and when there's a promotion and relegation system in place. As for now, we continue to take baby steps towards growth for football in Australia. And the long-term vision will probably not be visible until another decade, purely because the FFA are very slow with the progression plans. All in all, even if the salary cap was to be scrapped today, this wouldn't be enough to progress football in this country. As we all know, the system is terrible and things need to change all the way from grassroots to the A-League. If you are a believer in anything that I've said today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, share us on social media, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you know when a new video comes out. This was Football Oasis, and we'll see you next week.